Hello, how are you guys doing today? We're going to be doing some more ARTcade, which is what I guess we're calling this now, because it's better than RevScapes or Art Stream featuring me or whatever the fuck. So, for those of you that missed the first one, the general premise of how this works is that I turn down the audio and the music, and then I speak in a sultry voice, because my vocal cords are destroyed today. And then, we go and play a video game. And what we're going to be doing is, hey, thank you, Rob Revolution, for resubscribing. 15 months. Holy fuck. We're going to go find a spot in a, game. We didn't finish our painting last time, so we're going to finish that one. So we were looking at the bridge near Firelink Shrine in Dark Souls. And that's where we're going to go today. We're going to finish the painting. I was having a very bad painting day. I've had a much, much better week as far as painting goes, but I just... 3 out of the 7 paintings that I'm doing for this exhibit that's coming up are not done. So I need to work on that. Also, something else I need to work on. Someone, and I don't particularly know why, probably because they're a nice person, and maybe confused and thinking that they're actually giving their money to someone who deserves it, gave me $50 the other day. And let me, I don't think that they have a, wait, it's just a donation, yes. Does it have any, no, it doesn't have a comment on it that allows me to know. But thank you, Jeremy, for donating $50. I'll probably buy an actual camera stand. I've been renting one from the school, which is free, but, you know, I also have to give it back every week. And I'm worried that one of these weeks I'm not going to be able to do it just because I won't have been able to rent the camera. Or the stand, I should say. Anyway, let's do the thing. I'm going to start up the game and I'm going to talk about other things that are going on in my life, as per usual. Let me get the music so that way it's set up. Where is the music? There is a Twitch alert thing that goes on. I think I set Moobot to talk about it. Where's the music? Is this it? That's it. Okay. Properties, not the alert box. We want to have this. Not specifically that, but yes. So generally, my week's been good. This stream will not be as long as last week's, I feel like, because last week's I think went a little long. I'm happy to say that Ace Waters actually made it to 10k subscribers, which he fucking deserves. And I ought to replace that intro soundtrack. And I know that's like maybe blasphemy because of how like that song it is for me now. But I want to make, I don't know. It's also one that I got for free because it was royalty-free music. It's a good song, but it's how do I fucking get this thing to work? Sorry. This painting is not very good. I'm actually very disappointed in it, I should say. I've been looking at the music thing. The problem is that when I switch frames from intro to the one called both, all of the things get reset. So, that should be okay. You can kind of see my palette. This is also a lot more out of the way. I don't have to like try and paint around it. So this side of the canvas should actually be good today. Anyway. And then need to fix it just a little bit. It's unfortunate that I can't just keep this a certain way and then it'll stay that way. Someone resubscribe, but I've got a window in the way. I'm sorry, Bob Dole. Thank you, Fonzie's Jacket, for 14 months. Today is the day that people resubscribe, isn't it? Like kind of early into the month, late into the month, somewhere in that region. There we go. There we go. Let's boot up Dark Souls now. Hopefully I can do this without a whole lot of trouble. Where are we on the 75 sub thing? I also was smart enough to make it so that way I have my laptop out. Although I don't have my glasses on, so I can't actually see my laptop all that well. Which normally isn't an issue because I'm usually close enough to it. But, yeah. I'm not very close to it today because of all the shit in the way. The other reason I'm not going to be streaming particularly long today is that, I'm also going to be streaming tonight, and I think it's still going to happen. It's going to be with me, Yul, GPM, and a guest streamer guy. I don't know if he's confirmed or not yet. And if he's not confirmed, I want to be like, this guy! And get y'all hyped up, because he's kind of a big deal. And so, you know, I don't know. If someone else spoils it, then fuck it, but I'm not gonna. Speaking of the real talk that happened last stream, I do want to readdress some of the stuff. I got an email from someone whose name I honestly forget and probably shouldn't say for the sake of, Got his knees coming on. For the sake of that I didn't ask to see if I could do so. Sometimes people don't want to, have their name used, especially if they're, like, really getting into, like, some shit, you know? But, you know, last time I was talking about how numbers don't really matter. I mean, they do. Honestly, they matter. But, like, you shouldn't judge your entire worth based on how good the numbers are doing. Somewhere in this region. Can I tell you what I will stream? Yeah, no. Actually, no. I'm gonna try and readjust it so that way it's exactly the way that, it was last time. I do want to say that if you are going to be, painting along, let's not put works in progress on the Boru. That pissed off some of the people from, that do the Boru, stuff. And so if you do have a work in progress, but you still want it shown on stream, use the tag on Tumblr, ARTcade, or at me in a tweet. And that way, yeah. But at least we can get started now. I should say that, like, I don't know. As much as I like to think that I'm immune from the numbers thing now, numbers still, very much play a part in, stuff I do. Like, you know, you can't let the value of, you know, something getting 60 notes, you know, being a thing. Or only 2 notes or whatever it is. I'm gonna go get a Kleenex, hold on. It is me drawing, hello. And it's awful. We'll fix it so it's not. I'll be right back, one sec. I think I'm vaguely allergic to the burger that I ate, but I really love it. I think I may have fucked up my favorite brush, which would be really, really sad. Can I get it to not be awful? Can I get the paint off of it? I don't know. I'm also a little bit tired. I stayed up until 2 rendering a video, which ended up crashing right near the end. It's one of the last videos in the Undertale thing. Just making sure that it's all ready to go and ready for y'all to see when it comes out. It's just a burger from a local place. It's not a particularly good diner, but it's convenient. It's right around the corner. So I just went there, got it, and I think it's okay. It's, I mean, like, look at that curve on that. That's bad. It's supposed to be a flat brush. I really like this. I need to get another one. It's a 4 Bright by Princeton. Bright, I think, is a type of brush shape. I honestly don't know this stuff as much as I should. Are there music requests? No, actually, I need to start the music. Excuse me. Fuck. Shouldn't have moved the mouse. I wish the audio didn't glitch out as much as it does. It's honestly because of, Dark Souls causing problems. That popping is really bugging me. Hopefully you guys don't hear it. This guy's a really good musician, and as I said last time, go subscribe to him. I ought to get the music, like, if I do buy a new intro soundtrack thing, I should get it from him, because he's good at what he does. I haven't listened to much of his original stuff. Alright, where do we even fix this thing? This is just fucked. Like, this side of the canvas is just kind of fucked. This side of the canvas needs work. It's all fucked, isn't it? The music's a bit too loud when you're away from the mic. Okay. Let me see what I can do about that. Sorry, fucking up the camera angle again. Okay, that should be better. And then we use the controller, wherever the fuck that was, there it is, to kind of fix it. Since when did I start streaming art? I used to do it all the time, actually. But then I just kind of stopped for a while. I can't really give you a good reason. I think it's just because the viewer number wasn't really there, and it was just me working on whatever project I felt like. And that's not as interesting. Because, I mean, I honestly should be working, like I said, on those 3 paintings that need to be done. I think I'm going to fix this, because there's some bits, like, down here where there's not any, I don't know if you guys can see that. You really can't. Whatever. The glare in here is pretty intense. Can I get the lights down a little bit? There we go. A little bit less glare on my end. How is the audio now? Alright. So we're going to try and stay away from black and all that. I need to get some of the... I think part of the problem I was having last time was I was using this Winsor Newton paint. And I'm going to use it today again. But it's a very thin paint. It's good for background painting. But for actual, like, painting, like, top layer stuff, it doesn't really work all that well. You can kind of see where I've mixed it with some white up here, and you have, like, this, like, streakiness. And it's because it's a lot of filler and less actual thick paint. Which is problematic.
So you want to make a Texas.
Oh, fuck, I forgot. I can't actually use... Fuck off, HEB. Hold on. I have to close out of this and then make a separate window. HEB, by the way, is a local grocery store chain, and they were doing a commercial for it, which they have to have, like, that Texan guy, an old country boy, and he knows, like you used to, the good taste of Mom's apple pie, the good taste of your sister's cherry pie. It's more of a Tennessee or Kentucky sort of stereotype about inbreeding, isn't it? Anyway. Enough jokes about incest. It's a good start to a stream when you immediately go to the incest joke. Alright, there we go. I've never been a huge fan of this song. String Me Up by the Rafters, but let's see if this version's better. Experiencing interruptions? Yeah, it's probably because I'm streaming at the same time. Fucking YouTube. So I'm mixing some of that cheap Winsor Newton paint with some heavy body raw umber Liquitex paint. And hopefully that gives us kind of a dark grayish blue without including some black, which will just flatten out the color. And I'm hoping I get relatively close to the same color. It's a little bit more blue, but just to make sure that the underpainting is done. And down below it is a little bit darker, I guess. I don't know, I'm making excuses. Still not having the best painting week ever, but if you follow my art blog on Tumblr, then you know at least that, like, I made some sort of headway on the ones that I'm doing for class. Is the camera doing some weird ass shit? Is it focus? You didn't get a single word of that after... Okay, hold on. Oh, the camera did shift. Alright, let me, I like this guy, but this song is just really not doing it for me. I think I touched the controller. Where the fuck is the controller for... Oh, it's over there. Okay. I'm gonna turn the music down just a bit. And then we click back in the window and refix the camera. If you didn't see this last time, this is kind of what this stream's like. A little bit of this every now and then. I feel like I've started several different conversations with myself and then not followed up on any of them. So, there's that. I also feel like the game's audio is much louder than normal. Is that just me, or is it actually louder than normal? Oh no. Lots of questions about like how to get started as a YouTuber or streamer, all that this week. Honestly, I got onto Vinesauce purely by luck. It's kind of an interesting full circle moment that we've had. I originally found Vinesauce because I was surfing V, which is a subboard of 4chan. I was looking for just something to listen to while I was doing art. And then I noticed that there was someone commenting. Can you guys still... Yeah, you guys can still see. Okay. When I get up in this corner, it starts blocking off everything, but whatever. That's kind of just the way it's going to have to be with the setup I've got. Once we move, I might have more space. So, I mean, luck or fate, depending on how you want to look at it. But some guy was streaming Chrono Trigger, and I'm like, yeah, the stream I used to go to, the guy was streaming Chrono Trigger, but I didn't get to see how it ended, and, you know, it's not the kind of game that I would actually want to play. I'll go look. And that guy ended up being Vinny. And a little while later, I ended up asking, like, hey, can I stream? And he's like, yeah, fuck it. Do I still browse V? No, but I heard that yesterday's video made it up on some subboard of 4chan, probably A. But A moves so fast that when I went to go check, it was gone. Yesterday's video was the JoJo video. That was something I was going to talk about. Just the the fact that, you know, notes and all that still matter. I mean, like, if I have a video that does really badly, I do feel bad. You know, don't get me wrong. Um, I just try not to make it everything in my life, you know? Uh, yeah, Vinny basically hired Yul only because he had a funny accent. Or at least that's what he says. No, not the Vinesauce JoJo dub. I don't know when that's coming out. This side of the canvas is still a little bit difficult down here because the tripod stand is actually still a little bit in the way, but it's manageable. But no, I'm talking about the I don't know anything about. And you know, I have a good day if my video does well. Like if I post something like an I don't know anything about or Yandere Sim or Flash games or something, I can pretty much guarantee that that's going to go well. That stuff pretty much always goes well. But what's weird about it is you can't control what does well, you know? You do art, you do videos, whatever, you stream. You never know what's going to be the thing that actually ends up going well, you know? For example, without looking, guess what is the most popular video on my channel? And by popular, I mean most viewed. I'll give you a hint. It has almost 200,000 views. Any go-to resources for starting out with traditional media? I really don't have a good answer for you. Kind of hoping that this will be that, but I mean, I got most of my experience just from trial and error and going to school. This is a little bit too dark, but I'm trying to make it so that way it's transparent enough that we can kind of go through it. Yeah, glass him. You'd think it would be Sakura Spirit. You'd think it would be Yandere Sim. You'd think it would be Frozen Flash, but it's glass him. By almost double the number. Because it went viral. Second is Rad Bomber, which is, you know, that makes sense. That went viral as well. But you can't control what goes viral and what doesn't. Something that old media doesn't really understand. Old media being... Why is the back of my hand red? That's probably not good. Ignore it as best as you can, now that I've pointed it out. Old media, I mean, like, you know, TV and movies and stuff like that, they don't really get how new media works. And so they'll post something and they'll be like, why isn't this going viral? It's so good. It's like, actually, most people don't like it. You've just run good enough ads in the past that people think that they do. And so they'll go check it out because everyone says that they like it and they're talking about it all the goddamn time on the radio and stuff like that. But when you actually have that instant feedback of, you know, Twitter or whatever, I recall there being a, I think it was like a Taylor Swift song. It was like pretty weeaboo and vaguely racist, I've heard. I haven't actually listened to it, so I honestly don't know. So I guess I shouldn't really call people that unless if I actually watch the content and see it, but it's about Hello Kitty. Anyway, that video tanked, and they got really fucking pissed that it tanked, and they got mad at people in the comments for not liking it, which is the dumbest thing you can do. Where am I going with this? I guess I'm going with the whole angle of, like, you can't control what becomes popular. You know? You can't hear the music at all. There is music, it's just very quiet, apparently. Okay. Let me turn down the game volume for one. Was it Avril Lavigne? Oh, actually, it looks like if I press start, the camera angle locks. Can you request music? I can't assure that the guy who you request it from is gonna like that you requested it. So no. Is that better now? The mouse is in the way. So, I don't know. It's just weird. It's very weird what goes and gets popular and what doesn't. And there's a little bit of an element of luck to it. You know, people go like, what allowed you to, you know, have the success that you have? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. And they're like, oh, quit being cheeky. You know, just let me tell me your secrets. And I'm like, you know, I honestly don't know. Like, good business practices, I guess. Not treating people who watch my stuff like shit. Having a fairly consistent upload schedule. Having a good personality. You know. But then they're like, oh, does that mean that I don't have a good personality? I'm like, no, it doesn't. It does not mean that you have a bad personality. In fact, you could have a better, more interesting personality than me. But, there's no way for us to really know that. Because that's not how it fucking works. Which is the most infuriating thing. The choice on The Wolf Among Us is the most popular video on my channel. Double check. It's crazy. You wouldn't think so. And that's probably not the video that, like, caused you to subscribe or whatever. You saw some video and you liked it and then you went and subscribed. It's weird. Plant, damn Daniel sort of situation. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand that. Like the guy said in the video, what's his name? I hate everything. He was like, yeah, I don't fucking, maybe I'm too old for this shit. No, I kind of feel like maybe I'm too old for it, but I think also there's a certain lowest common denominator that's just, yeah, let's see. Let's check my videos. I mean, yesterday's video is doing well. It's already got 10,000 views, which, I'll get into a little bit of math with you in half a second, but most viewed on my channel. From most viewed, we'll do the top 5. Glass Him, A Small Misunderstanding with 192,000 views. Rad Bomber with 76,000 views. Frozen Flash Games with 61. Minion Games featuring Minion Brain Surgery 58. Horrible Flash Games 46. And I believe that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Next one is another Flash Game one, followed by King's Quit, and then I don't know anything about Undertale. So mostly Flash games. I still really like the Winnie the Pooh Insurgency video. It's really weird what's popular and what's not. And it's not me bitching, don't get me wrong. I'm exceedingly happy that it is, but I think I don't know anything about is a good thing for me to doing. You know? Like, it's a good series. It has consistently high view counts. It's easy for me to do. It's a little bit different, so I can make jokes that I couldn't normally make. Which just allows me more artistic freedom, which is always nice. You get sometimes stuck in a box with what you're allowed to do, basically just not because anyone's stopping me, but because, like, you know, I do this sort of content, so that means that I can do, like, these sort of things with that content. Trying to figure out what I can fix. This painting's honestly just so fucked, I may want to start over, but part of me is too lazy to actually do that. Trying to figure out which would be easier. The laziness in me is trying to decide what the best strategy for being lazy is. That's generally how I decide things. What is the easiest route to do it? But yeah, I said I was going to get into some math, and so for those of you that want to start doing YouTube or something, or art or whatever it is, there's a very interesting phenomenon. And I think I've talked about it, or at least touched on it before while streaming. Where's my fucking Ralph Sienna? Ralph Sienna. Yeah, ARTcade will have to do. Where's green? Green is blue and yellow, right? Am I getting that right? I think so. Yeah, because you can have blue, green, and you can have purple. Gotcha. Okay, so. So the 80-20 rule, for those of you that aren't aware of it, is the most bizarre mathematical understanding of human existence that I've ever stumbled across. It basically says that 80%, it's a commonly occurring number association, 80 and 20. So for instance, in the world of advertising or video making or art making, 80% of the views and looks that it has, 80% of the stuff that goes on with it as far as it's like people consuming the content will happen within the first 20% of its existence, which will always remain true. You know? So that means that if I want to know how, for instance, this latest video is going to do, and how it'll be doing by next Saturday, I can predict that within a few hundred, pretty reliably, by checking to see how many views it has within the first 20% of this week. So what is the first 20% of this week? Well, 20% of, and this has been accurate every single time. So what is what is 20% of a week? So 7 times 24 equals 168, right? So, divided by, or times 0.2 equals 33. So the first 33 hours are going to be the first 20% of this thing. So 33 hours from 1 o'clock, that's, well, 9.5 hours or so from 1. A day and a half away. So tomorrow at 10 or so, I'll be able to check and see what 80% of the views on that video are going to be, most likely. Now this is not perfect. It's not a perfect science. It's accurate on most videos. There are occasions, for instance, in the case of Glasshim, where this goes completely wrong. But those are things that you can look into. Like, why did Glasshim get so many views? Well, it's because it went viral on Tumblr because someone was talking about the kind of vague choice options that you get in Telltale games. And they're like, someone posted an example, and someone posted an example, and it happened to be my video, and then that ended up going on. So, 80% of... am I not being... I guess I'm not being very clear on this. Oh, no, someone was shitposting in chat. Yeah, thank you for taking care of whoever was shitposting. This curve is the only one I'm happy with, but these two are... It's not accurate, though, is it? Because it actually goes up to here. So what I should be saying, to kind of better explain this, is imagine that, like, 80% of my views are going to happen in the first 20% of a week. So we know that that's 33 hours, for example. So I can check in 33 hours after I post a video, and I can see how many it's going to have. So let's say it has 10,000, right? So if we divide that by 4, right? And then No, if we times that by 1.25, then we can guess within about 100 views what the view count is going to be by next Saturday at 1. And it is scary accurate. It is under ordinary circumstances, yes. Not every single time, like I said. You know, in the case of something like Rad Bomber or something that goes insanely viral, it's not going to be the case. But in the case of most videos that I do, that is accurate. And so I can see, usually if, like, I've got 10,000 views right now, it's been 24 hours. So we could figure out how many views I have by the end of this week if we wanted. To some degree. Yeah, older videos are mostly for new subscribers. Just... not because, like, I don't intend for older viewers to go back and look, but generally, like, when you... if you're anything like me, you go back and you look at all the videos that the guy you just subscribed to has ever done. And up to a certain point, when you realize that their content has just gotten better over time. I just find that interesting. I don't know, I'm a huge nerd about analytics, which is why YouTube is really interesting to me. Don't take it as me being craven or anything. Does this knowledge help you in any way? Can I send you a picture of my art that won a ribbon? Yes. Does this knowledge help me in any way? Yeah. It lets me know within 33 hours whether or not something's successful or not, which is useful. Because then I know, like, more or less that, like, I can maybe decide, okay, this is popular, so I can, you know, do something similar, or I can figure out why it's popular, or I can, you know, figure out what the factors were that made it work, and then go from there. I'm still doing awful on this painting, by the way. I'm going to blame it on that I'm being distracted by having a conversation with chat, but that's not the case. It's actually just that I'm shit at art. Sorry. He had a video that over 100 views in 1 week, but then a month later I had like 1,000. Right, so then something's gone different. Something's not necessarily wrong, but something is off that normal pattern, which means that something special has happened. So you need to figure out what that special thing was, you know? And if you can figure out what that special thing was, you can kind of understand why your video did well and under what demographics it'll do well. This I need to sculpt down and stuff, but we can't do that just yet because the paint's still wet, so we're going to have to wait. This goes to here. Not quite. We're going to make some executive decisions on how to fix this painting. I just said that this paint is too wet to paint over, and yet here I am doing it anyway. It's because I'm dumb. Yeah. If you want to paint something totally unrelated to Dark Souls, it's totally fine, but yeah, you might want to tweet it to me instead. I intend, like I said, when I first was looking for Vinesauce, or when I was first looking at Vinesauce, when I first watched Vinesauce, it was because I needed background noise for when I was doing art. I like having something going on in the background, because I just find it boring to sit in total silence and paint. You know, and music's alright. It works for this. There's a bit of a glare, so I can't really see what I'm doing. I should probably work on something else other than this area, because it's still very much wet. This area is fucked. Can we fix it? Yeah, I mean, like, if you send a video to someone and then it gains views, you obviously know why. But it helps to kind of No. Where the fuck did I put the black? There it is. So, like, if I know that, I don't know. If I post a video and it just tanks by that 33-hour mark, then I know it's probably never going to do well. And mostly this is useful when I'm doing experimental stuff. Like when I'm trying to do something outside the mold of the stuff that I normally do. You know, if I'm, you know, the first I don't know anything about was a good example of this. Like, I was really nervous about it. I honestly, that's not quite it, Fluttershy. So, like, in a month, what is let's say, like, a month later is, 30 days, and 20% of 30 is what? I honestly don't know. I'm gonna have to use a calculator. 30 times 24 equals 720 times 0.2 equals 144. So the first, you know, what is that? 6 days are going to be the majority of the views that you have on that video in that first month. You know? In the first year after you've had it up for a while and so on and so forth, you know? It continues to be true because most of the views happen within that first couple of minutes to an hour that the view is out, or the movie is out, or the whatever is out. Understanding this is very helpful. It should not control your life, but it's really helpful to me as a creator because I know that, like, if I post something new, like I said, I don't know anything about, I know pretty instantly how the series went. Because I honestly had the idea for I don't know anything about for months. And I just never did it because I didn't think that it was good. I didn't think it was a good enough concept, but I think that was just me down-talking myself. And as soon as I did it, it's one of the top 10 videos on my channel. You understand what I mean? So I'm using a lot of water combined with a gray paint to do a bit of a glaze rather than using the actual glaze stuff that I've got. And I'm painting a little bit farther to the right than I need to just because this area is fucked. And I'm trying to fix it. How colorfully do I normally paint? You can check my art blog. It's up in the top, like, right above this to get kind of a general idea. But, generally I don't have a whole lot of color in my work. I usually use a fairly muted palette. It's, I think it shows my influences a little bit more than I'd like to admit, but, you know, you can't avoid what you're influenced by in a lot of ways. Like, you know, as far as my comedy goes, I was heavily influenced by stuff like, Mystery Science Theater and, Zipped Mystery? No. The guessing game for I don't know anything about, that just came out of nowhere. I was just like, no one's gonna fucking get this. And then, of course, Cinepepper actually figures it out within a couple of seconds. And it's just like, well, shit. Fuck, this painting's so fucked up, isn't it? This is something that I do with my art as well. So just, the left side is just fucked. It's fine. We haven't touched it enough. We've just got, like, the bottom... the underpainting. These are colors that I don't mind if they show through the paint, because paint is kind of thin at times. I need a little bit more blue in this gray, I think. Especially if I'm going to use it in the background and down here. So, I'm going to add blue and I'm going to add white to that blue. It's the same blue that we've been using. I've got a paintbrush in my mouth, handle side towards me, not the other way around because I'm not dumb. But it's still dumb. Because if there's any paint on the back of the brush, then I'm going to get that in my mouth and eventually go insane. Like Van Gogh did. We spoke about this last time. I think that blue might be too light. I think you guys can actually see my palette a little bit this time, which is nice. It's a little bit better for me as far as being able to get around. And also, it's a little bit better. I mean, I'm arguably. Zipf is an interesting statistical theorem. I don't understand a whole lot about math, honestly. But that the specific like 80-20 thing is really interesting to me. And I started looking at it because when I first heard about it, I'm like, that sounds like fucking bullshit. What is this? Oh, fuck. I grew up with Mega Man X, and I'm like instantly aware of this song. I'm like, what the fuck is this song? I know it. Bump, 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 bump. I fucking love this song. Not the best song on that soundtrack, but it fits his style a lot more than, say, like Storm Eagle does. Hopefully we can get away from the underpainting eventually. We can actually start to do real painting. I feel like I'm spending too much time on the underpainting. They put some stuff, like cadmium, like good cadmium paint, like cobalt blue hue. Hue. This is probably not actually cobalt. But then I get something like, that one's a hue as well. Hue means that they didn't use the real shit. Pretty sure I've got a yellow. I've got one in here that actually uses the real metal. Or mineral or whatever the fuck. It helps to know what it is. I'm dumb, so I don't. Because then you can silence your art a bit, and then it looks a little bit better. Again, I need to thin out the brush a little bit by adding some water, but not quite doing it. This is also pushing me to become a better artist, which is a nice little side effect of this series. Because then when I fuck up like I'm doing right now, it forces me to get better rather than to just sort of accept how shit I am. Which is one reason I guess you guys should also post your art when you get done with it. Dadaism. I like Dadaism. Surrealism, I think, takes itself a little bit too seriously. I'm gonna get a little bit of paper towel. It's quilted for her pleasure. And we'll bring it back a little bit by, not sure where we're getting that black from. I think the paint from the... That's a little bit better. And then we can, some of the stuff that's on the sides, that's a little bit close to stuff, we can kind of mix that in so it thins out. And then overall it's a little bit thinner than it was. And that helps out. Let's do that a little bit here as well. There it's a little bit more noticeable what I'm doing. You can definitely see where my finger's kind of going through the paint. That's a little bit better. I'm still not happy with this, but The paper one turned out pretty well. Yeah, surrealism is mostly about him worrying about his dick not working anymore. Surrealism is a lot about man fear. Stuff like that. I've got a glare going on, so this is not like the best lighting conditions for this. Eventually I'll get things better. How does this compare? It's not quite that color, is it? It's a little bit more prismatic than that. I think there's some cerulean in it. I want to fix the sky because it's bugging me. It's a little bit more prismatic. Not a lot, just a little. Prismatic, by the way, is how close out of the tube color it is versus being very saturated where it's like some shade of gray, you know? How do I feel about colored pencils? I don't particularly care for them because I don't understand how you use them right. This glare is gonna drive me fucking insane. You can't hear the music at all. Is that a problem for anyone else? Yeah. The clock picture, over time, things start to going limp. Yeah, that's what that picture's about. It's literally about him worrying about his dick. I know it sounds insane, but when you start thinking about it that way, a lot of his art makes sense. Also, at one point in his life, there was a grasshopper and it landed on his mouth and it freaked him out. And so there's a lot of grasshoppers on mouths in his art. Surrealism does not... It's not as deep and meaningful as you'd like for it to be. That's not quite the right blue. It's a little bit better. It's just quiet. Okay. Let me, good tools do make all the difference in the world. Like, if you have a good set of colors, if you have good tools, it's a lot easier. Now, obviously, like, if you're a good artist, you can use shit stuff. But it's a lot harder. And a lot more of the time you're fighting with the actual stuff. Like, so when I draw with a pencil, I use mechanical pencils a lot just because I'm a cheap ass. But when I use actual pencils, like actual art pencils, I have a lot easier time of it. And the reason that it is that way is because a mechanical pencil is just, it has a certain thickness to it, and it doesn't keep that quality to it the entire time. That blue is not right. It's kind of a dusty blue like that, but not quite. Now, shitty colored, like, pencils and stuff like that. I got paint on my arm. Great. Oh, that's not helping. Oh god, there's paint everywhere. Just on me. Shit. Yeah, it makes the art easier to do, which can make the difference in the world. Like, if you're using really shitty paint, you're probably not going to have as good of paint. I mean, like, in the example of this blue, like, it's really not a good blue, but it's okay for an underpainting. So if you just started out painting, it's okay if it's not the best thing in the world, because you may not be using the best quality paints, you know? Yeah, and that's another thing. I don't know. Like, an amazing musician can make a shitty dollar store, like, kazoo sound good, but Is it gonna sound as good as a like expensive, nice Martin guitar? No. It never will. No matter how much he trains himself, no matter how hard he tries, he won't be able to do as good of work with that shitty kazoo or little ukulele or whatever the fuck they've got in the shop that just is shit. Versus a professional quality musician thing. It's like an amazing musician can make an automaton sound good, but I don't know. I feel like material, I mean, like, there's a saying that's like, you know, a craftsman doesn't blame his hammer for the quality of his house. It's like, kind of can, honestly. Obviously, like, if you don't have the fundamentals down, if you're just fucking around and you know what the hell you're doing, yeah, you're gonna not do well. Have I tried painting in watercolors? Yeah, and I'm alright with them, but I just don't care for how they look. I like darker colors. I was heavily influenced by like Edward Hopper and Eric Drucker and stuff like that. So a darker, almost black color palette appeals to me more. Like that richer, thicker color, which is just not something that happens with watercolor. That's an example of how tools can hold you back. If I was trying to be the kind of artist I am and express myself the way that I do, with watercolor, I'd go insane because it's not a very good tool for that. It's better for airy, watery, you know, kind of pieces. Not for trying to fade back this background a bit. I feel like I'm letting performance anxiety get in the way of me being able to do stuff. Fortunately, art and streaming are one of the few times that I have to say that in my life. Yeah, exactly what Dear Deity just said. Like, the better you get at theory, the easier painting is. Is there any way we can... Let me try switching around the lights. That's just... You can't see what the fuck I'm doing anymore. I can see what's going on up there, and I didn't even know that this wasn't painted until, like, just now. But you guys can't see for shit with that. There's so much of a glare going on up here for me. I can't see the fucking screen. People have said that there's some similarities between me and Burger Pants. I see it. I see it for sure. I think anyone who's overworked and high-strung sees themselves in Burger Pants, you know? What is that color there? Kind of that grayish green that I've got here, plus maybe this blue I've got as well. Might be able to bullshit it by using these two colors. Not quite. Might have added too much blue. For a beginner, oil or acrylics first. Okay, here are the advantages of both. Acrylic dries very quickly, which means that if you fuck up, you can change it around a little bit easier. I need to figure out where this edge begins. Like right here, this cliff face, or the side of the building. Oil dries slower. Which can help if you're just learning how to mix paint. But if I don't know. The other problem with acrylic is that it doesn't dry the color that you put it on as. So you'll look back a few seconds later and then it'll be a completely different color. And it's not that you're going crazy. That's literally just the way it is. What is this song? There's contrast between the sky and the bridge, yeah, and it's not quite right. I'm tempted to just restart this painting because I hate it. Let me look at it without the glare. Sorry, you guys can't see it right now. This is okay up here. There are individual elements that are good. But I think I got off on some of this stuff. Don't. Alright. That build-up is kind of awkward, isn't it? The sky is not right, again, still. I'm using acrylics with this painting. And it's because that I find it personally easier. I think this is where I need to make the thing. This is where it needs to be that kind of greenish color that I have. I'll fix it when I do the sky. It's so frustrating too. The nice thing about doing it in class or whatever is that, like, when you fuck it up in class, like, teacher doesn't see it for another 30 minutes or so. So you can fix it. You don't have anyone, like, just standing around watching you. And while they do, it is awkward. I don't know, it's something I'm gonna have to grow out of if I want to keep doing this series, that's for sure. What the fuck? That posable thing that... Oh. Just like little mannequin guys. You can get them in most art stores. I don't know what they're called. They're the gift that if you don't know anything about art, you give your artist friend. Not because they need it or they want it, because they already have several. But... maybe if I get some details in, I'll feel a little bit better. Because that actually bumps out a little bit. Acrylic is hard for a lot of people. And so a lot of people recommend starting with oil and moving to acrylic. Acrylic works better for this specific stuff because of the fact that we're painting indoors, and I don't know what kind of ventilation you've got. And if you don't have proper ventilation when you're doing oils, the turpentine will literally kill you. Yeah, honestly, if you want to give someone like that's an artist friend a gift, a good choice is like money for an art store. Figure out what art store they go to, because like I wouldn't know what colors to even tell you what I should get. I don't particularly care for oils in some ways. I don't like how long it takes to dry. A lot of the stuff that's on my website is oil. This year in particular, and the end of last year, I started switching over to acrylic. So I'm still kind of learning it. It's different than oil in a lot of ways. Is that right? Is that right over there, more importantly? That looks alright. It's just a different thing to work with, because acrylic has a much more flat, plasticky feel to it, which you can avoid by using mediums and stuff. But, yeah. If you want to know what to get, like, an art friend for their birthday or Christmas or whatever, go, look, I don't know what to get you for your birthday or whatever, but here's, like, a $100 gift card or whatever. Art is expensive, know that. If you give a gift card, you get to give them a decent amount. Unless if they do digital art. In which case, I don't know what to tell you. Sparty just resubscribed. Thank you for that. And then Hootie just hosted me to 72 viewers, so thank you for that. Both are amazing things. Oil is totally legit. Like, if you understand oil and you can do oil, then go do oil. Then fine. Trying to figure out where that ends, and it's like right before this bridge ends. So this is actually right, and what I just did was wrong. Fuck me with a rake. This is my internal monologue that I have when I'm painting, by the way. So if you ever want to know what's going on in an artist's mind, or at least my mind, I'm just saying what I'm thinking out loud, so that way there's not just dead air. This gray is actually pretty okay for this area. It's a little bit darker. It's better for up here, actually. We're going to make it work, because I don't want to have to repaint this entire section too much, if I can avoid so. Yeah, for digital art, you're paying them for their work and their craftsmanship. You know, like, when you're paying a doctor, I always like to compare artists to doctors because it's a specialized field, and without it, people would die. It's a little bit more apparent in the case of doctors, but you definitely need artists in the world. It sounds trite, and it sounds like I'm being, like, oh, pretentious and shit, but honestly, like... you need art. It's been studied. Like, if you don't have something, like... I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's a certain mental deterioration that happens if you just do work all of the time. I'm not saying that everyone needs to be an artist. I'm saying everyone needs to consume some form of art, you know? Because without it, you will go crazy. Music. Think about what life would be like without music, for example. Or video games. There'd be less people salty on the internet, but... you know, what would the overall quality of life be like? I don't know. I need to get a better stand. I think, see, if it was like this, can you guys still see it? I can't tell. That looks okay up there. It's pretty subtle like that, and it's a little bit brighter on the side where the sun would be coming in. Landscapers, architects, web designers, they're all artists. You could have boring Arial, well, not even Arial font, because Arial font is, an artist came up with Arial, you know? Like, someone thought about how font should look. It's something you don't think about because it's done so well, and because artists are never treated with respect, but someone came up with Arial. Do you feel me? Like, someone actually came up with, like, a font as basic as Arial, and then it was used. Some guy invented Helvetica. Someone invented Comic Sans. Regardless of what you think of it, someone invented it. You know? I'm not saying all art is good. Art is very subjective. Also, I noticed that Twitch alerts is not working. You're surprised that I don't paint the sides of my canvas. I paint to the edge. Once it gets to the edge and you can't see it anymore, I don't care. trying to get the right paint color over here. Sorry. Give me a sec. That's better. I gotta say, I'm a much better artist than I'm showing off right here. Please go check out my art website, because this is not good. This is not good by my standards. I think it came from having a very shaky first day of doing this painting. It's a bad practice to abandon art. Do I just use drop-in frames then? I don't know what you mean at all. I honestly don't know much about canvases or canvas stretching or any of that stuff. I should look into it more. I've got trimmers as well. I don't know if it's apparent or not. I chalk it up to style. Yeah, the art on my art website is so much better than this, and it sounds like I'm just talking down this piece, but like by comparison, this is really shit. Like, it's just not very good. I don't know. We may just do a really shit. You know what? I'm just gonna stop fucking worrying about it.
I want to let you know that I have a brand new VGM album available now for download. If you just click on my face, it'll take you to the website where you can pick up my brand new VGM Volume 1. Did fresh mixes and remastered the whole thing so they sound extra nice. And yeah, if you want to support the channel, go and check it out and get yourself a cool album.
There you
Did you
go.
enjoy the video? I hope so. If you're looking for some more VGMs, just click right over there, and it'll take you to the playlist that's got them all. If you want a more in-depth look at some of my equipment, just click right over there. Because last week I made a Gear Spotlight video where I wrote an entire song with just my Dave Smith Tempest, and it turned out pretty cool. Next week I'm doing a really cool collaboration with a couple people, so if you haven't already, click the subscribe button, and yeah, again, thanks for watching.
So why don't we do this? I am a firm believer of the taking a break motto of art. If you just work on a canvas constantly, you know, people like to think that artists just like, they are driven by this thing and then they slowly, you know, they go insane and their vision is, they're these dark, tortured souls. Yeah, don't fucking do that shit to yourself. That's a goddamn myth. You know, you think Rothko had his shit together? Guy shot himself. Or did he hang himself? I forget. Point is, that shit's not good for you. You gotta take care of yourself. You know? And part of that is not just like doing art until you drop. You gotta go take care of yourself. So, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a 2-minute break while this song goes. Get up. I will not be streaming. I will not be near my microphone. I will not be doing anything vaguely interesting. This music will be going on, but I want you to... In fact, I'm gonna mute the music. I'm gonna mute the music to force you to get up and walk away from the computer for a bit. Walk away from your art. We're gonna go and do a 2-minute break. You're going to stand up. You're going to look at something else far away from your canvas. They say that, like, if you know, every 30 minutes or so, you should look away from your computer screen to make sure that your eyes are okay. Get up. Go look at something away from you. Maybe look outside. Walk around. Move around. Just get up. Okay? 2 minutes. Alright, we're taking a 2-minute break in the middle of this stream to just relax and get away from our art. Because when you come back, after having not looked at your art for however long, 2 minutes, you're going to notice a huge difference in your art. What if we can't get up? I'm an asshole. My point is go and do something else. We supposed to draw too? If you want, you don't gotta. But if you are doing art, you do need to get up and move away from your art. If you're laying okay, if you're doing art and you're physically able, get up from your canvas for the next 2 minutes and just go take a smoke break, go look outside, walk around, stretch your arms, do stuff. What are you, our teacher? No, I'm just trying to instill good habits into you. I have no legs. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I sound like such a fucking asshole. But if you haven't realized that I'm an asshole by this point, you might want to consider your life choices. Sorry. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Alright, it's been 2 minutes, and if you didn't get the fuck up and walk around, it's not gonna be my fault if you don't see anything new that's wrong with your art. That's part of the reason you gotta do it, is you gotta go and look, and then, when you come back and you look at it, you're like, what the fuck is going on over here? What the fuck is this? That's pretty okay. I can't actually find a part of the canvas where I like it. You know what I mean? Also, we're having some weird issues with dropping frames and encoding because Twitch is shit. We're not doing anything new. I just realized that Rev's voice is hot. My voice is very grumbly and rough today. I think if I do a 2-minute ad when I tell everyone to go walk away, it's not exactly like a huge issue, is it? Anyway, let me get the thing to work. And I gotta figure out why Twitch Alerts is not working, because people resubbed, so it should say, there should be a thing up in the top left corner where there's all that blank space above game. Should say a thing. Whoops, that's not it. Ooh, that broke something. That's not right. My art right now is very rough. I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do another hour of this, and then whatever fucking happens. We're just going to move on to a new scene and a new thing because I'm just getting frustrated with this piece. And if it's shit and it's the first one we did on ARTcade and I don't like it, you know, I'd like for all of them to be good paintings, but sometimes you just gotta admit to this yourself that you've got some shit art. And what the fuck is going on with the frames? All right. I'm gonna stop and start stream. So don't freak out. Let me know when you hear this, and then I'll come back, and hopefully that fixed the frame drop problem. It's not a huge issue because there's not a lot of fast-paced action going on, but it still bugs me, personally. I don't know if it's bugging y'all. I might have to try something else and work my way up. I've got another thing. It needs a little bit more work. It's not bad. It's not so much better of an artist than this. Alright, I'll be right back. And I'll probably forget to combine this with another video because it'll be about 2 hours or so I'll think it's a normal video when it goes up on After Hours, and then people on After Hours will be like, you fucking asshole. You forgot to combine these videos. It's because I'm dumb. I'm sorry about this in advance.